Do you believe in angels? What about ghosts, spirits, demons, sprites, elves, fairies, aliens? What about Bigfoot? My dad just put some version of this question to me and asked me what the Zen take is on such matters. So that's the topic of today's video. Assuming I can find a place to shoot today's video. I'm at my dad's house right now. I'm shooting this video in his basement. Clearly there were some kids here recently. There's a pile of Play-Doh, probably 14 years old. A blackboard written on by either a serial killer or my nieces and nephews. This is the backdrop for my video. It looks like I'm a terrorist shooting a ransom video. Okay, forget that. It's too depressing. Now I'm outside looking for a good place out here. I'm at my dad's rifle range. You can see he has his wooden setup here for shooting the guns. And then way down there, you can't see it, there's a actual target that is shot at. However, we're not gonna be shooting guns out here today, folks. We're gonna be shooting videos about the Dharma. You know what? Scratch that. It's too mosquito-y down here. Folks, I don't know where to go. Okay, are you settled in? Are you done running around all over tarnation? Because I'm about to tell you a story. It's a true story about one of the most interesting, strange, spiritual experiences I've ever had. Brace yourself, because it's gonna get weird. February 3, 2013, I'm head monk at the monastery. My teacher is 105 years old. He's still got a full teaching schedule, but tonight he's out of it. Not teaching, really sick. So I decided to sleep in his cabin that night. I put on a pillow and a blanket in the Sanzen room, which is right next to his bed. Sanzen room is where we did our private interviews with him for 40 years up at the Zen monastery. So it's a special room with a lot of energy. Okay, so about 4 o'clock in the morning, I wake up and suddenly I get this sense that I am outside of time and space. So there I am, chilling out in the void, as one does, okay? And then something happened. From this infinite stillness and infinite darkness, I felt a pull. I felt a pull downward. Editor's note for clarity, because this video has been a hellish experience to try and edit. I went a little bit nuts when I was shooting it. So the feeling was I woke up, I was totally conscious, I was totally awake, I was laying on the floor, and suddenly something happened, and it was like I was in a whole new dimension of reality, and I wasn't sinking down into the earth, I was sinking down into something that felt like sort of like almost a substructure beneath our present everyday ordinary reality. Back to the video. I warned you that it was gonna get weird. Keep in mind, I don't believe in the efficacy of tarot cards or astrology. My girlfriend occasionally throws the I Ching coins, but I consider it to be a kind of tool to prompt the subconscious for my creative endeavors. I don't take it to be absolute reality or fact. I'm not a woo-woo guy, okay? So bear that in mind when I tell you what follows. As I was being pulled down, left and then right, I heard these voices, okay? And they were, I'm getting chills on my back now thinking about them. They were strange. They were like insect-like. And they were saying my name, my ordained name is Gento, and they were saying the name of my teacher's attendant who was laying there next to me in that room. Gento! And that's pulling me to the left. And then I heard Myoren! It's pulling me to the right, okay? And I'm sinking down and down. Oh! This probably requires no explanation. It's a Cape buffalo that my father shot in Africa. As I was being pulled down, a response to the situation began to form. It wasn't emotional and it wasn't intellectual. And that response was, just go with it. I leaned into the leftward pull downward, and I leaned into the rightward pull downward. And once I made that decision, then gradually I began to stop moving and I was very still again. I don't know how long I was in that state of stillness, but while I was there, all these insights just flooded up. And here's what they were. Undergirding or supporting and informing and interpenetrating with our everyday reality are these forces or phenomena. Maybe they're even beings. I had this image in my head at the time of these little creatures with these little voices. They were like little, bear with me, like supernatural squirrels in a dimension right next door to ours, and their job is to manipulate or affect our fate, our destiny. You following me? They aren't bad. They're just doing their thing. But I had one final thought before I slipped off into this really rich dream. Before I had that dream, I had one final insight about these beings and these creatures and these forces that I had experienced moments earlier. And that insight was, they're coming for Roshi. So you need to be ready. You need to be prepared. You need to be super focused and super mindful because everything is about to change. Me again. I just had to edit out about 20 minutes of nonsense. Basically, in sum, we wound up taking my teacher to the hospital the next day, and he was there for 2 weeks, and I had to sleep on the floor 24/7. I was there with him the whole time, and when I was dealing with the doctors and the nurses, I maintained a level of laser focus that was informed by that experience that I had on the floor in the Sanzen room. That's all you need to know. So you'll be happy to know that my teacher actually did survive that experience. He almost died. I mean, he went down to a place that I've never seen anybody go before. It was like I literally watched a man on the brink of death, pass over into death, eat from the buffet table of death, meet the cast of characters down there, and then say, all right, I gotta go back now, and then come back into our world. So that was 8 years ago. Thanks for letting me tell that story. I've been meaning to get that off my chest for a while. 8 years ago. What are we to make of those supernatural squirrels? What are we to make of the fact that it seems as though I had received some kind of very severe and serious warning from entities in a parallel dimension about the response I needed to take to my teacher's health crisis? What am I to make of this experience? The short answer is nothing. So there is precedence in Buddhist cosmology for the stuff that I went through, I think. Traditional Buddhist cosmology talks about the 6 realms of existence. And these are not like fixated eternal realms that you get stuck in, but the inhabitants of these various realms are reborn in the different realms depending on their karma. Okay, so the realms are the God realm, the demigod realm or the Deva realm, the human realm, then I think it's the animal realm, then the realm of the hungry ghosts, and then the hell realm. So if I were to interpret that experience I had in like strict Buddhist cosmological terms, I would say that maybe I touched upon or I glimpsed into or I was visited by the realm of the demigods, okay? They weren't good, but they weren't evil. They could be appealed to, but if I wasn't very present and careful, they could cause mischief, like the death of my teacher, okay? However, even though I'm an ordained Zen Buddhist priest, I would never, nor was I ever taught to, interpret an experience like this according to a template laid out thousands of years ago by people who had never come into touch with modern physics or neurology or science. Zen doesn't require any kind of belief whatsoever, much less when it comes to speculative spiritual things like God realm, a demigod realm, a hungry ghost realm. It requires no such beliefs. There's a great story about a student goes up to a Zen master and says, "What happens after we die?" And the Zen master says, "Why are you asking me?" And the guy says, "Because you're a Zen master." And the Zen master says, "Yeah, but I'm not a dead Zen master." Okay, so speculating about the afterlife and whatever may be out there beyond this present earthly everyday reality is not the Zen way. So, what is the Zen way? The Zen way, in a nutshell, is attend completely to the present moment. So, whether there's some amazing supernatural experience where supernatural squirrels from a parallel dimension are trying to suck your teacher's nearly dead soul into their world, or you just meet a new person on the street, the response is the same. Attend completely to the present moment. Pay attention. And more specifically, keep an open mind. Keep an open mind that's totally free of conclusions or cogitation or summaries or labels. Just keep your mind open, go with the flow, and attend to the present moment. Ultimately, I'm really grateful for having had that experience, but in retrospect, it doesn't really mean anything. It's just an experience. I mean, right after it happened, I told a bunch of relatives at a Christmas party about it, and they thought I was nuts, okay? And over the years, the intensity of that experience has diminished. It was an experience, gone, like all other experiences. No different. It's just not so special anymore. And that's okay. That's good. That's how it should be. We feel like we're totally alone in the universe, and these experiences seem to suggest that we're not. And it's really scary to be totally alone in the universe. But if we attach to these experiences, then what happens? We wind up wanting more of them, and we chase after them, and we try and recreate the circumstances that led up to them, and we start goofy religions, and we join harmful cults, or you just get that look in your eye like you're not totally present, like you're looking to other worlds for other things. And the problem with that, you get woo-woo eyes, you know? And the problem with woo-woo eyes is they can't see what's right in front of your nose here in the present moment, and that's what's important. So to put it most succinctly, just the fact that we can experience things and be aware and conscious at all is way more badass than the content of that awareness and that consciousness, no matter how spectacular that content is. The very fact of awareness, consciousness, life, being, the world around us, the fact that we all share one universe, that is way more spectacular than any spiritual explanation for what's going on. Looks like I did find a place to shoot today's video after all. If you liked it, hit subscribe and the like button. You can find me on Patreon as well, and your support is appreciated on PayPal too.